I know you like lists.
Yep.
Really? I can't make fun of anybody? Nobody? That's pretty much what I do. Not gonna make fun of anybody. Okay. I've noticed that when you're looking at this, because the camera's up top, but you can actually look at yourself, the other person, or the little world thing, and it looks like you're looking at, just camera shit. Okay, so let's go back to the sort of table of contents. What are we going to do? We're going to talk about deep time, what it is. That's all him. World building, I'll talk a little bit about that pertaining to game systems. Real game examples that we have done and want to do. And sort of the origination of why you're interested in this other than the fact that it's cool. We might not do any of that in that order.
That's fine.
It will probably be a scattershot because why the fuck not? So let's start at the beginning, origination. Why are you interested in this shit?
I'm interested in this because I've always had, even as a kid, I was one of those kids that had a fascination with fossil animals and as well as geography.
Mm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a map.
Yeah. So as a kid, I would go to the library and I would read up about fossil animals, past life, past climate. Extinct life was my life. Yeah.
Holker does know a formidable amount of information on these topics.
And at the same time, I was very, very interested in geography, the geography of the world, not just political boundaries, but everything that you could map.
What's the capital of Moldova?
Chisinau.
Chisinau?
Yeah.
How many people does it have?
Probably about 1 million.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. I don't know for sure.
Just saying, that's pretty awesome. Continue, please.
Anyways, as I got to college, I liked geography so much that I ended up majoring in it.
I thought you majored in history.
And that one.
Okay.
Yeah, and history. And I also just kept up with science, popular science topics, and I would go to the library and read books, especially on evolution and just the past history of the world that goes beyond what's written down.
You mean what's not written down, but what's taught in classes?
What's known by science? Yeah,
I see. Yeah, because obviously you're reading it, and this is at a time when, did you really in college? Did you really even use the internet?
Okay, did I use the internet? Not kind of.
Other than Napster.
No,
that's right.
I would go to the library and I used EBSCOhost back then, and sometimes I would cut class and.
As you do. Now, EBSCOhost, this is getting off topic, but describe what that is.
That is a service that you commonly find in university libraries where you can look up scientific journals, you can look up books and other sources that you couldn't just find on a library shelf. And for a university like the University of Kentucky, where we went, they tend to have access to everything, even back then.
Mm. Yeah.
So it was a really good source. Now, you can find sources like Science Daily. It's an excellent source for.
Continue. Don't mind me.
For just popular science topics, a lot of journal articles and discoveries will put out short press releases, and sometimes they are press releases, and so you have to kind of take that with a grain of salt.
Mm.
But a lot of times they are publications for peer-reviewed journals, and it's very interesting. It's oftentimes worded in a way that you could read. Some of them get technical, but overall, I found nowadays Science Daily to be a very excellent source for
Science Daily.
ScienceDaily.com.
Now, do you have a subscription to it, or can you just read it?
No, you can just read it.
It's pretty sweet.
But for other other sources of background, I would tend to check books out from the library.
Go on.
Yeah.
I'm just going to cite this later.
Okay.
What we talk about, the sources and shit, I will source I will source in the details. Hi, Megan. Oh, Megan is on, by the way. Megan Reese.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Megan.
Yeah. Yeah. Right, so that's where Daniel gets all of his information and voodoo and all that good stuff. Let's talk about deep time one more time.
Deep time. Okay.
Ooh, let me do it really quick.
Okay.
If I was going to, as I am about to, describe to someone what deep time is, other than what I gave your deep time starts at the beginning of the universe about 13 billion
Yeah, more or less.
years ago. God, I look stupid compared to you. Thanks, me mad. About 13 billion years ago. And it kind of ends, deep time, around 5,000 BC.
That would be 3000 BC.
3,000. Oh, so 5,000 year history.
Yeah.
3,000 years. 3,000 BC. So, basically, it's everything before recorded history.
Yep.
As in, before history was written down. So some of it has to do with when humans are hanging out doing our stuff. When I say some, I mean a very, very, very tiny amount.
There's several million years of human history sort of at the end of deep time.
This is thinking men, like Homo sapiens style?
We diverged from chimpanzees around somewhere between 6 to 10 million years ago.
Of course.
And from that point, from that point of divergence, we've had a fair amount of history, especially in the old world in Africa, Asia, and Europe.
The old world.
Yeah.
Now, when you say the old world, are you talking like, are you ready for some ignorance, ladies and gentlemen and others? Are you talking about Pangea?
No. No. In this case, I actually reference it to mean by Africa, Asia, and Europe, where a lot of...
Ooh, check it out.
Yeah.
Africa. I know it's backwards. It's hard to point. Africa, Asia, Europe. I know those. I'm not a fool.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long ago was Pangea? Because I think of that in like times of dinosaurs and like,
Okay, so Pangea Pangea came together. It was not the only supercontinent, but it was the most recent one. And it came together somewhere around 250 to 300 million years ago.
250 to 300 million
Yes.
years ago. Okay, and we diverged from the chimpanzees.
Well, we didn't. Our last common ancestor lived probably around 6 to 10 million years.
6 to 10 million years.
I have read some research that postulates that it wasn't a clean split.
Well, it never is.
No.
So our ancestors, our common ancestors, had no idea what a Pangea was.
No. By that time, the continents were almost in their current configuration. The only real exception being that South America was on its way to actually forming a land connection with North America, and that occurred about 2.7 to 3 million years ago.
Was it tumultuous, or was it kind of like they were like, and docked?
Well, that event is called the Great American Biotic Interchange. It's a very
a
Great American Biotic Interchange, because what happened...
biotic, I see.
Biotic.
So people going up and down.
Yeah, because what happened was South America was its own island continent since the end of the dinosaurs. Up until that time, it had some connection with Antarctica, when Antarctica was warm enough to actually sustain life beyond penguins and seals.
Right.
But
and aliens and predators.
of course, yeah,
Right.
and the thing,
And the Thing.
yeah, kill it.
Although, is that in Antarctica?
Yeah.
I guess it would have to be. Because there's
Did you
no.
ever see the movie?
Of course I fucking saw the movie. You know,
It's in Antarctica.
I think they did a reboot of it. And I believe it sucked duck. Duck.
Anyways, South America was its own continent with its own set of animals that diverged quite a bit from the rest of the world.
So the Great American Biotic Exchange
Yeah,
is basically where the shit from the North American continent and the shit from the South American continent got it on.
well, not exactly.
That would have been awesome.
In South America, you had a whole suite of animals that were totally unique to that continent.
Whoa, before we get into it, because I know where you're going, and that's going to lead us right into the world building, which is great, but
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit more about time real
Time.
quick.
Okay.
It'd be really great if we had like a chart. If we had a chart. I have paper everywhere. Why can't I find a chart? Give me one moment. Tell me more about time.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Tell me something else that happened 6 to 10 million years ago. We're humans.
Yeah.
That we got. About 2 million years ago, we had the Great American Bioexchange, right?
I'll tell you about another event that's relevant to world building.
All right, good.
And somewhere around 5 or 10 million years ago,
Yep.
on at least one occasion, when Africa was drifting north, as it still is, it got a little too close and formed a land bridge with Spain.
Huh.
And as a result, most of the Mediterranean basin dried out completely.
Really? This is 2 million years.
It's around 5 or 10. It might have happened more than once, but it
Oh.
happened at least once.
So 5 or 10 million years ago, that went down, and you're saying that there were our ancestors. Are we talking Homo erectus, or are you talking like before that?
It was probably before that.
Okay, so what would that be? Because I know Homo erectus, Homo sapiens.
This was probably where we had chimp-like ape ancestors roaming around, even Europe, because at that time it was probably still warm enough that primates could inhabit vast areas of Europe, whereas now they're sort of restricted to Gibraltar.
Okay. So,